Hi, Benji here, and this is why we shouldn't ignore the influence of racial bias on the Traitors UK. Spoilers for episode 2 ahead. The first Spanish player this series was Judy, which aligns with the recurring pattern on the show where people of the global majority, black people particularly, are more likely to be suspected early on. Early banishment is where bias is most visible, because the group is making decisions with little tangible evidence and relying heavily on perception and instinct, which is where racialized assumptions tend to surface. In Judy's case, suspicion originated almost entirely from Sam, who moved around the group claiming that her demeanor had changed in a suspicious way. She apparently was very expressive before the game started, but quieter and more withdrawn when it began, which is a weak basis for suspicion because the game makes almost everyone more guarded. And such changes in demeanor are normal responses to pressure in a high-stakes environment. And what makes the influence of bias particularly clear is that when Judy became aware that Sam had been talking about her in such a way and approached him to get an understanding of where his suspicion was coming from, he didn't really meaningfully engage or give her space to reassure him. His mind was made up, and when he repeated his rationale at the round table, most of the group aligned with him and voted Judy out. This isn't necessarily about proving racial intent, but highlighting how suspicion often forms and spreads when evidence is thin. People of the global majority are more likely to be seen as suspicious without proof, and less likely to be given the benefit of the doubt when they explain themselves, particularly when up against the voices of white people. Being quieter is suspicious, and speaking up for yourself rarely restores trust. And we see this dynamic repeat across all of the series, especially in the early stages of the game. It's very fair that some people will find this triggering or uncomfortable to watch, but I do think reality TV like this offers a valuable opportunity to see dynamics that significantly impact the life outcomes of marginalized communities play out within a relatively contained environment. The Traitors is not only an entertaining but also highly educational watch, showing how power, privilege, and influence operate in real time, not just across race, but also factors like class, disability, gender. That said, there is a missed opportunity for the show to make bias awareness a more explicit part of the format. Encouraging reflection on why certain suspicions feel more compelling would lead to better decision making and a more insightful experience for the audience. Hope that helps. Bye.